Well, actually, my uncle called me and asked me if I was interested in doing an antelope hunt, and that he had gotten word that this outfitter was really good if you were interested in a quality hunt. When he called me and told me about the hunt, I said, well, let's find out about it. So we did some research and dug around a little bit and found out, you know, just nothing but good things from Table Mountain. And so once we found all those things out, we absolutely just decided to do it. So it was a no-brainer. Well, I'll tell you what, when we first pulled in, I drove in from Kansas and picked my uncle up in Denver and then drove up the rest of the way. And when we came into Wyoming, we were just looking around the properties we were driving. We were just like, man, these are some cool looking properties. And then we got to the bunkhouse, got to the camp, and the camp itself was fantastic. We were one of the last two to get here, I believe. And we got to the bunkhouse. Guys were already talking, making good friendships. There was a couple groups in here, small groups. And I just got to talking with them. The camp was great. Met Scott and Angie after talking to them a few times on the phone, so it was great to put a face with the name. But they were just great. I mean, the food was great too, and it was just very welcoming. And the quality of land is incredible. I mean, it's just beautiful country, and the amount of game is just impressive.
Beau is out on a morning antelope hunt in a blind surrounded by cattle. The Denny's have a lot of grazing land for cattle, and this popular watering hole is a place for all the animals to come for a drink, even antelope. After waiting most of the morning for the cattle to let the antelope in for a drink, Beau is finally seeing some activity in the distance. With a couple of bucks circling the cattle herd, one of them is bound to get thirsty enough to make his way into the watering hole.
Well, we got settled in, and daybreak had just basically started. And I don't know, the truck probably got away, and we settled in, and probably within 25-30 minutes, we had a buck. We saw one coming over the hillside. And he was coming into water. He was thirsty. He wanted a drink. And so when he was coming in, we had like 2 or 3 cattle already there at the water, and there were some more coming in. He just checked out the situation, and he just didn't like those cattle. So he kind of skirted, and he wanted to come in, tried to come in another way, and just didn't like it. And so he went on off. But that kicked the hunt off awesome. And then after that, we had a couple more groups come in, and we had a group of, I think, 3 or 4 bucks come in, and 2 of them were really good bucks. And if they would have they came in just too close to the blind. They were literally almost underneath the blind because they were trying to get to that water, and the cattle were there, and they were just thirsty, and it just didn't work out. But they ended up going around, and a couple of them were definitely going to get an arrow if given the opportunity. So we got set up this morning and had one good buck come in, but we had a couple cows here, and it just kind of kept him back for a little bit. And then we thought he was going to come on in, but then these other cattle started moving on in and made him run off, and he took off down the valley. We thought he might come back, and so we've been here for a bit and just had 3 bucks with a couple does come in, and 2 of them were pretty good bucks, and they really wanted to come in this water, but they just stayed off and tried to circle and tried to come in, and they're about 10 yards off the blind, but just angled away, and good bucks rather, and they circled back behind us and took off back up in this valley, and they're a couple hundred yards off in this valley, so we'll see what happens the rest of the time we're here.
Hammon is out in the Wyoming landscape, hidden in a ground blind waiting out a trophy goat. He had a couple shooter bucks get close, but they were angled away from the blind so Beau couldn't get a shot. But the wait always pays off.
A couple of them were definitely going to get an arrow if given the opportunity. And then after that, we had the eclipse, and we all got out, stretched our legs, and watched that, which was awesome.
Not very often you send your hunter out to a blind and tell him to wait for the solar eclipse. But that's exactly what happened on this day. And the hunters that were riding around with me that had already filled their tags, we went down to Beau's blind and enjoyed the show with him.
You know, the eclipse was kind of exciting. It was something a little different, but as far as the hunting goes, it didn't really seem to affect anything. We had another great day in the life at Table Mountain.
We got back in the blind. It slowed down for a little bit, and then about an hour and a half later, we could see some antelope off in the distance. And then we had, I looked back over my left shoulder and I saw a doe and a buck coming in. And the buck, as soon as I saw it, I said, that looks to be a really good buck. And as it got closer and I glassed him, it was obviously a shooter. And didn't know if he was gonna come all the way in, but the doe brought him up to water and then he wanted a drink too. And he gave me a perfect broadside 43-yard shot. I mean, it could have been better. It was an awesome experience. I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I thought I missed him. I thought I missed him when I first took the shot. But I don't know how, man, look at the, oh my gosh. Look at the blood on the bank and across. That happened quick. Man, that happened quick. She's still up there. She doesn't know what the hell happened. But man, that happened real quick. That's perfect. I mean, once those cattle cleared out of there, it was just a matter of time before they came in. And that last cow cleared out, what, 20, 30 minutes ago. Perfect broadside shot. Man, that was fun. That was fun. Man, this is, it's, oh, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's, hospitality's awesome. And got here into camp, and Scott and Angie are fantastic. And the property they have is unreal. I mean, you're just driving around and you're seeing antelope, mule deer, everything. And it's just an incredible, incredible place to be. I couldn't be more grateful for the hospitality that they've shown and setting us up, all the hunters that they've had in camp. I think I know at least one other guy knocked one down, and I bet there's a few other guys that knocked one down too. So, man, it's just, couldn't ask for a better outfit. Scott and Angie just sent an email with some, preparation stuff as far as stuff we needed. And as far as that, I mean, they basically told us, show up, be ready to shoot. And fortunately, I was ready to shoot. But I mean, that's a 40-yard shot, broadside, a little over 40, it was about 43. But they said just be ready, bring your bow, bring your arrows, be ready to draw back. And they set us up in the right spot, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for those cattle this morning, we probably would have got it done earlier, but if I had to do it all over again, that's exactly the way I'd want it. That is exactly the way I'd want it. I'm Beau, and I live the life.
When I get that text or call that one of my clients has something down, I do get pretty excited. I want to get there to see what they have and get the story and the scoop on what happened.
When I get a text from a hunter that lets me know they have one down, I just get a big smile and change the blade in my Havalon.
Now that Beau has all the pictures he could want, he just has to back out his goat and head back to the bunkie for a celebratory meal. Then it's time to get the next hunter out in his blind.